Countrymen and countrywomen, I greet all of you. Today I want to address you on three issues. One issue is the issue of discipline in the security forces and human rights of the population. I will also talk briefly about the Myoga program, because I hear so many people talking about the Myoga, but I think they need some information. And then I will also talk briefly about the vaccines. But before I talk about that, those three, I need to inform the people who I saw on the road. I have been to Nakasongora recently, and then the other day I went to Matuga to open a factory there. Today I was in Jinja to open the factory to lay the foundation stone for the factory of buses. And on all these occasions, people line the road wanting me to stop and talk to them. However, I don't stop. I just wave from inside the car. This is because this is not the time for people interacting in big groups. The corona is still very dangerous. It is still there. Therefore, when the people see me not stopping, you don't think that I'm ignoring you. It is because I don't want to be part of causing people's death. Njagala okutegeeza abantu bonna benalaba ku kkubo luli lwe nagenda Nakasongola, olulala nagenda Matuga, waliwo factory gye twali tusimba ejjinja, olwaleero mbadde Jinja, abantu abamu babadde banyimiriza, baagala nyimirire nyumye nabo. Naye essaawa eno ekyali mbi, bino ebyenkungaana ez'olujjudde oba abantu abangi okubeera wamu ne boogera si bituufu, birimu akabi. N'olwekyo tumulowooza nti nganye okwogera nammwe, naye essaawa ekyali mbi ku lw'obulwadde. So that's one point. The other point is that today I wanted to have a long interview, a long discussion on this TV program, but I delayed in Jinja, in the factory of the buses. People were making many speeches, so I will not talk so long today, but I will mention the main points I wanted to mention. Now, the first point I want to talk to you about is the issue of the human rights of the people of Uganda. This was the main reason, one of the main reasons why the NRM went to the bush and why we fought all those years from 1971. We put very strong discipline in our army, in FRONASA, in NRA, in UPDF. The main reason why people should be in leadership is to serve the interests of the people, not serve their own interests. Nobody should be in the uniform of the country if he does not respect the people of Uganda. Now, when you respect the people of Uganda, you must observe the following. Don't bark at people. Tobogorera abantu. Oh! That's not pointing okutunga kakumu at people. That's not a people's army. People's army, you don't bark at people. Tobogorera abantu. Don't beat people. Don't beat members of the public. Don't beat even criminals. You are not allowed to beat anybody. Not even the children. Because in the past there was beating of children. That one we rejected. If you beat children, we send you to jail. Corporal punishment in schools was abolished. Because it is backward, it is criminality. So nobody should beat any Ugandan. There should be no killing of any Ugandan for any reason, other than war, other than when you are fighting, or if you are condemned by the court of law to be hanged. Recently, we had a case of killings in Somalia. A group of our soldiers went and killed some people. That they were angry because they had been ambushed. Yes, that's war. If you are ambushed, you should know that you can be ambushed in war. You only kill people when you are fighting. But to go after that and you kill people that you are annoyed, it is bankrupt. And all those fellows have been arrested and they are going to be charged. We shall have, of course, to do Okaraba with the Somalis. Okaraba is the traditional way in Ankole of blood settlement. In Acholi, they call it Matoputu. So you are not allowed to kill anybody for any reason other than in war, when you are in battle, not war, battle. Or somebody is condemned by a court of law. Keeping people in jail for a long period without trial. That's not allowed. It's not allowed. The idea of safe custody. Jails are not storehouses for people. Deporting foreigners without trial should be stopped. Anybody should be handled, even those foreigners should be handled legally. Because those loopholes can be used to not only abuse the rights of people, but actually to disadvantage the country. Like this deporting of foreigners without trial has actually been used, I have heard, by some criminals among us who want to cheat foreigners with whom they are doing business. They swindle the man of foreigners, then say they work with the corrupt security people to deport them so that they're out of the way. They don't challenge their criminality. That's why the court is very, very important. You want him to be deported, why? You give the reasons. And if the court is convinced, then it will allow you. If not, even the foreigner stays. So all these mistakes, barking at the people, beating people, isolated killings, they are not many, but they should not happen at all. These isolated incidents of killing, like the other time when we had riots in November, some of the people killed were definitely rioters who were attacking people. But also there were cases of what they were calling stray bullets. But where were the stray bullets going? What were you firing at? There is a report which was produced by the police, and after scrutiny it will be made available to the public. No beating of people. All those keeping people in jail without trial. All those are caused by the following problems. First of all, indiscipline. Some of the people are indisciplined. Secondly, the senior commanders do not adequately brief the juniors, especially when they are dealing with the public law and order management. The juniors are not adequately briefed about what they should do and what they should not do. And yet, some time ago, I made a categorical order that nobody should be involved with the public if he is not conversant with the standing orders of how to deal with the public. There are also some anachronistic traditional ways, because traditionally beating thieves is allowed. In fact, the Banyankole say, akabokeiba kwehura umugongo gwako, that a dog which steals pays with its back. I think the Baganda say, akawakabi kagumya mugongo. But we are not in a traditional army here. We are in the army and the police. The army is the National Resistance Army, a revolutionary army, which later on became UPDF. This is not a tribal gathering. This is a revolutionary army. You must use revolutionary beliefs, not ancient traditional beliefs, which were from a society which had all sorts of limitations. For a start, the tribal societies did not have jails. They did not have safe houses where somebody could be locked up, because the technology was quite low. So that's why they were using quick methods. We beat you, at least you get your punishment. But for us, we have got prisons. We can put you in prison and lock you up with a padlock. The buildings have got cemented walls. You have nowhere to pass. So there's no panic. There's no reason why we should beat you. No. You stay here until we sort out. The traditional societies were using beating because of their low level of technology, which is not our case. So therefore, these mistakes are caused by either indiscipline or not enough briefing or not enough sensitization or laziness by the investigators who do not investigate enough so that you get the facts and you convict this criminal with the facts. Our human rights record is incomparable to any in the world. The NRM never believes in revenge. We never believe in revenge. We fight. If you kill me during the battle or I kill you, that's the end. But after that, if we meet, we shall not say you fought with us. No, finished. No revenge, NRM. No killing of prisoners. In the 1972 war, when we attacked Idi Amin from Tanzania, I captured a lorry with my group, full of arms and some prisoners. And I handed them to my allies, the UPC who were with us, the soldiers of Museveni. This was September. It was Orhira, burnt countryside. At Kabelebele, this is exactly mile 10 from Barara. I remember the thing so well. So, when I went to the road to pick up the weapons, I had my allies shooting these people. I think there were like 5 of the soldiers who had captured, others had run away. Shooting them in the Hira, in the burnt countryside. I was so annoyed. We almost started a war there between us and the UPCs. Why did you shoot these people? They surrendered. And they gave us the arms. They surrendered all the arms which Amin had given them. They gave up. They didn't use them to shoot us. They just ran away, and others surrendered. We got the victory. We got the arms. Why are you killing them? These are allies. Why do you kill them? Just bankruptcy. We almost started a war between us there. Later on, I will explain more about that killing. No killing of prisoners, no assassinations. We don't believe in assassinations of opponents, that somebody is against me, so I kill him. Why do I kill him? By killing him, it means that his argument is so powerful that I have no answer to it. And therefore, the only way is to kill him. But the NRM is absolutely sure. Whatever we do, we are sure it is correct. In all these almost 60 years, when we were part of the student movement, in the 1960s, when we were fighting the regime of Amin, when we were fighting the UPC, all these years after that, we are absolutely sure that we are right, if we are on the right position. If not, we change our position. We say, no, we didn't understand this, now we understand it better. So why do we fear, why would I fear anybody to kill him so that I silence him? Why? And when I was at Kororo, I explained that by killing your opponents, first of all, you create permanent enmity between you and the people who support him, or his family, or his relatives. How will you reconcile with them? To have killed somebody illegally. But secondly, you make those people heroes. Because people will say, if so-and-so had not died, he would have done this or that or that or that. Even when maybe he would have done nothing. All the people have been opposing us. We just fight them politically. And we defeat them. All these years, we have been defeating all these opposition groups politically. You can mention one. Even Idi Amin, we never wanted to kill Idi Amin or Obote. At one time, I saved a joke from being killed by our people here at Nairo Mansions. So, assassinations are a bankrupt method used by people who are not sure of their political positions in terms of logic and truthfulness. We always rely on the courts to punish the wrongdoers. Even in the bush, we had to set up both the court-martial and also the civilian courts, which at one time were being headed by Mrs. Mukwaya. Mrs. Mukwaya was our Chief Justice in the bush. So therefore, for us, killing is only in battle or by order of court, no other. Every policeman who is listening to me, every soldier who is listening to me, and the people of Uganda should know that that is the position of the National Resistance Army, that is the position of the NRM, and that's the position of the Constitution of Uganda. And because of that, that's why Uganda has no refugees. Uganda of NRM has no refugees. When we came in 1986, there were 500,000 Ugandans in exile in Sudan, South Sudan, and in Congo. Uganda was number 4 in the whole world in the number of refugees. But now, there are no refugees from Uganda, except some terrorists who go voluntarily because they want they think, actually just terrorize our neighbors, mainly Congo, the ADF, and criminals like Chiyingi in Australia. They just go because they are criminals, but not political refugees. All these troublemakers, they come here, they make trouble, they go, they come back. If we don't have a case against you, or we don't have enough evidence, we don't touch you. So that's why there are no refugees from Uganda. Instead, we have got 1.6 million refugees from other countries. Whatever man sows, that's what he reaps. By observing human rights, we have stabilized our country. We don't have refugees. So therefore, there is no need, and it's not acceptable for anybody to kutokoza. Wanyankole have got that word, kutokoza. Like I have got my coffee here. If something falls in my coffee, that is oktokora. Yatokora. My coffee has been polluted by something that should not be there. Once there's ektokozi, you can. There, I'm going to use one word to pollute and also to remove. When you remove something that has fallen in your drink, it is called oktokora. If it is a piece of grass or a leaf fallen into my coffee from up, which is clean, I can oktokora and drink it. But if it is a fly, that is now no longer just a tokozi, it is a chagaro, it is an abomination. I must pour the tea. I can't drink it. So please, do not tokoza the NRA, the UPDF, the NRM by doing these abominable things. Do not damage our legitimacy, our history, our achievements. I would like you to show some pictures, if you have them, of some people who are kutokoza our heritage.
Kamada, aged 45 years, Kisambira Siliman, 42 years, Abdulaziz Ramadan, and Habib Ramadan Majin. The accused appeared before Chief Magistrate Douglas Nsingiza Kalikona and was slapped with 2 counts of murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. However, due to lack of jurisdiction by this court to handle some charges against the 5 accused persons, court did not allow them to take plea. Prosecution led by Brenda Chomugisha informed the court that inquiries are still ongoing in the charges against the accused, thus requesting court for more time. The accused were represented by their lawyer Geoffrey Tuliamusima, who informed court about the torture inflicted on them, praying to court to be pleased and dismiss the charges against them, although court declined to grant all the prayers. On this, the accused were remanded to Chitalia Government Prison until 3rd August 2021, when the case will resume formation. Talking to some of the accused after court, they disclosed to us the
just bring the picture of the beatings and freeze it. The picture of the beating, now, leave it there. You see, this prisoner was beaten. Those are beatings. Why do you beat a prisoner? Because you are too lazy to interrogate him. So that's one of Toko's. Why beat prisoners? Why? Look at this one now. Of course, these are criminals. I don't agree with the legal actors who say because he has been tortured, therefore, no. The torture was a mistake, but the mistake this fellow committed was bigger than the torture. Maybe has killed this, I think these were arrested in Katumba's case, where they killed 2 of our children. The girl Brenda, the girl was called Brenda, and the driver. I think these are in that case. But these confused people are kutokoza. They are polluting because the police had done a wonderful job. They had used our cameras, which we put to very well get these people. Now they spoil it with this nonsense of beating. Okay, let's get another picture, another example.
We informed court about the torture inflicted on both. They disclosed to us the situation citing torture that was inflicted on them during and after arrest.
Nasimanyi kiki bankubisa embeera eri ekkaka okwogera nekyotosobole kwogera kubanga nzibu nnyo kati ono mu kifuba waliwo yaleeta n'atuuzaawo omugere Katonda asaasidde ngenze nziramu buzi okuba nti nsobola okusika omukka ne bantuusa gye bantuusa ne bandaga videos ze nalimu nga ntambula n'abantu abamu ne mbagamba yenze.
Prosecution alleges that on 1st June 2021, at Kisasi Central Zone in Kampala District, the 5 murdered Sergeant Aruna Kayondo and Brenda Nantongo.
You freeze that one. The one who is beating the guard. Bring it back. Bring back the one of... Look at that one now. Start from where he started chasing her. Now. Okay, thank you.
6:45 p.m. It is rush hour and sections of people from Kampala city are rushing home to beat the 7 p.m. curfew. Government issued curfew restrictions as measures to stop the spread of COVID-19.
No, that's all right.
The traffic congestion and the long queues
the other is enough. That's enough. So now you saw those 2 examples. Just totally unnecessary. Why do you beat people? Just chase them and they go. Now, because of these mistakes, which I had noticed, I issued directives to the security forces. One directive, I will put these directives in a booklet, which I will make available to the public. There is this letter I wrote on the 15th of May, 2017, to the Chief of Defense Forces and the Inspector General of Police and Director General Intelligence Services. I can read it for you here. Concerning torture, this is in order to enlighten you about the use of torture on suspected criminals, okutatsya. This is what they call it in Nyankore, okutatsya, to beat in order to make somebody talk in the fight against crime. In our traditional societies, torture was commonly used, and it was not only accepted, but actually encouraged. Hence the proverbs like akabwa kaiba kaihura omugongo gwako in Runyankore, and akabwa kabi kagumya mugongo in Uganda. The dog that steals pays with its back. In both dialects, it means that a stealing dog pays with its back, i.e., by being struck with sticks and koni emigo on the back. Traditional ideas, however, had their own mistakes in many instances. That is why those ideas that are not consonant with logic should be abandoned. To take one example, in many of the African societies, marriages were arranged by parents for the young couples. The couples had no say in the matter. This was because in the no-nonsense traditional society, marriage was a strictly scientific matter designed to produce offsprings that had no emize, no hereditary defects, physiologically and behavior-wise. These would be defects like asthma, epilepsy, and behavioral weaknesses like cowardice, greed, spendthrifts, ababaji, etc. The idea of love among the intended couples never entered the equation. There was okurigira, to appreciate the beauty of, or oksima, to appreciate the qualities of somebody. This was, however, by the parents or persons deployed by them. Today, however, all enlightened people know that the traditional concerns notwithstanding, love among the couples is paramount. It is therefore clear that torture, in order to extract confessions, okutatsya, has three possible mistakes that may even torture, the three possible mistakes that may include torturing the wrong person, somebody who is totally innocent. This is very unfair. That's number one. Secondly, somebody may admit guilt when he's innocent in order to be spared being tortured. This would make the real criminal escape in order to commit more crimes later. You see, that beating, somebody can say, yes, please don't beat me, I admit, when in fact, he's not the one. But because of fearing beating, he just admits. So what does that mean? It means that the real criminal is not arrested. He's somewhere and he will commit more crimes because you have gone off with the wrong target. Thirdly, confessions by criminals are not necessary. These lazy security people think that the criminal must admit. No, even if he doesn't admit, but you bring the facts, the court will convict him. Even if he doesn't admit, even if he's... So it's not necessary to get admission. Even if the suspects do not admit their guilt, if the investigators do their work well, fingerprints, photographs, DNA tests, eyewitnesses, the use of other scientific methods, the use of dogs, the criminals can get convicted whether they admit or not. Therefore, the use of torture is unnecessary and wrong and must not be used again if it was being used, as I see some groups claiming in the media. Of course, the criminals are the most annoying by using the cowardly but shallow methods of the borders, taking advantage of the large number of vehicles and people in order to commit crime and hide. That, however, should not make us panic and go back to the defective traditional methods of Oktatia. We defeated Lakwena, we defeated Kony, who was being heavily supported by external elements. We defeated the ADF, that was again being heavily supported by foreigners. We defeated UP of Teso and disarmed the Karamojong cattle rustlers by removing 40,000 rifles from them. We cannot fail to cope with the cowards using borders to kill people who are peacefully sitting in their cars, or are walking along the streets. With a little adjustment, we shall avenge the death of Sheikh Mustafa Bahiga, Prosecutor Kagezi, Haji Daktur Muwaya, Sheikh Jawat Madangu, Sheikh Yusuf Sentamu, Sheikh Yunus Sentuga, Haji Mohammed Sabagara, Tito Okwale, Constable Driver Wambeo Godfrey, Corporal Erao Kenneth, number 1004 SPC Karim Tenywa, number this PC Babale Muzamiro, Owori John Stephen, Owori Julius, SPC Isiko, Macho Stephen, Okumu Ronald, Sheikh Rashid Wafula, Major Chigundu, and AIGP Kawesi. So these are the people who had been killed by these terrorists, whom I was naming here. And indeed, we have arrested the ones who were arrested in the case of Kawesi, in the case of Katumba. Many of them were involved in the case of Kawesi and in the case of Chugunda, at least. I have not checked about Kagezi and others. So therefore, what I said here has been fulfilled by patiently improving our technology, improving our methods. We have finally got these people using our brains, not using beatings. Our annoyance with these criminals should not make us opt for defective shortcuts. These are hardened criminals by default who think that by denying they can kill and escape accountability. However, we shall get them using patient methods of evidence, but not through torture, because evidence through torture is not reliable. That was the letter I wrote in 2017 and I gave copies to so many vice presidents and other people. Now, on 15th February, soon after the elections, I met commanders of the commandos of SFC about the use of force by patriotic fighters, and it reads as follows. The historic line of the NRA for NASA is that we were and still are patriotic fighters. We fight for the 4 principles of our revolution. These are patriotism, loving all Ugandans, because these Ugandans need one another for their prosperity and security. Pan-Africanism, because we realize that even Uganda, later on the individual sectarian groups, is not enough to ensure the prosperity and security of Ugandans as individuals or groups. They need East Africa. Socio-economic transformation that must involve the metamorphosis of society from the pre-capitalist, traditional, non-monetary modes of production, mainly for subsistence, mixed up sometimes with the limited colonial and neo-colonial modes of non-profitable production, such as the growing of tobacco in Western Nile or cotton in other parts of the country, to commercial production in the 4 sectors using Ekibaro. The 4 sectors being commercial agriculture, industry, services, and ICT. And democracy, which means governance by the people through regular elections. Those are the 4 principles of the NRM: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. With these principles, the patriotic fighter cannot go wrong. There is no Ugandan aiming at genuine and legitimate interests of an individual or a group that will in the long run not support us. If we stick to our principles, there is nobody who will oppose us indefinitely. Because we are right. What we are saying is right. That's why you find that many people who are in the opposition, eventually they come to our side. In the short run, through lies, obscurantism, and manipulations, some groups or individuals may oppose us. As the Banyankole say, "Ekiteekateekirwe embwa kahonga omu karo." This refers to somebody who threw spitted meat omu karo at a dog. The dog, thinking that the man had thrown a stone at it, initially ran away. However, from a distance, the dog smelled the scent from the meat and realized that what it initially thought was a danger was in fact very delicious food omu karo. It came back and enjoyed the meat. The NRM, Fronasa, the NRA, the UPDF have never thrown stones to any group of Ugandans in search of legitimate interests, either in the past or the present. The only ones that faced our fire were those defending or promoting illegitimate interests. Dictators, denying the people free elections like the President NUP, which is an attempt to resurrect KY or the likes of Amin. Here I'm referring to NUP because they were using intimidation, terrorism. Feudalists and opportunists trying to divide Ugandans along tribal or religious lines, or grabbing the land of the peasants in the form of the colonial Mayo land. Or indisciplined soldiers and other security personnel misusing guns of the state to kill people unjustifiably. These are parasites, and they are the ones that are never happy with us. They are actually the opposition to us ever since 1965. In the last 57 years, we have used both peaceful means and the barrel of the gun to push for the legitimate interests of the people of Uganda and Africa. Peaceful means included the correct diagnosis and prescription that eventually evolved the four principles and also the propagation of the ideas thereof to the population, students, peasants, intellectuals. Here we put our analysis peacefully to the public. In spite of the obscurantism and subterfuge of the reactionaries, the population, on account of our patient explanations and our actual practice, in the end, comes to our side. This is what happened at the Chikunyu Conference in 1982, when the bankrupt Kaira was pushing for an army of Baganda, UFM, parallel to the army of the Banyankole NRA. The Baganda peasants rejected that bankruptcy and sided with the NRA. You have seen recently the voting behavior of West Nile, Acholi, Lango, Teso, and Kasese that had been manipulated in the past by the parasites to be hostile to the NRM on false grounds. In time, with our own right actions for the people discover that what was previously presented as a stone thrown with hostility was actually delicious meat. They abandoned the parasites and came to our side. That's how the LRM grew from a mere student group between 1965 and 1970 to the part of millions by 1994, the time of the CA, Constituent Assembly. The correct ideological and political messages accompanied by correct actions where opportunity for actions exists. That's what changed, transformed us from small to big, from weak to strong. Where it becomes unavoidable to use force, again, the force must be used in a principled way. We never used force indiscriminately. Indiscriminate use of force is terrorism. It is counter-revolutionary. An armed revolutionary, a patriotic fighter, is like a surgeon. A surgeon uses a knife, but in a careful, deliberate, targeted way. he or she goes for the tumor. In aiming at the tumor, he may injure other tissue that were not sick. That is all right. It is unavoidable damage. Have you heard of collateral damage? If, however, he was to cut anyhow, unnecessarily, he would no longer be a surgeon, but a butcher. Hence, the NRA always observed the following. We never used assassination by either bullets or poisoning. I saved Oito Joke from a planned assassination in Nairo Mansions. The High Command stopped a commander that was beginning to poison UPC officials in Kampala. They were calling Tokwenjera, using cyanide. And I saved Peter Otai from poisoning in the UK by alerting some officials from UK that were here in Kampala. 2, we never beat or killed prisoners of war. Good examples were people like Christopher Gala, the police commander whom we captured in Masindi, the RP Masindi, as well as the 4 or so Acholi soldiers and the 2 Tanzanian instructors that we captured at Masindi on the 20th of February, 1984. Instead, we treated them well, stayed with them at Kanyara for weeks, took them to Kaya's farm to see the dead bodies being dumped there by the government, and delivered the Tanzanians to their High Commission in Kampala and dropped Gala at the soldiers on Guru Road. Obote was disappointed that we had not killed Gala and the Acholi soldiers. He indeed imprisoned Gala so that he does not tell his story. Gala was only released by Okero in 1985. He continued as regional police commander until he reached his retirement in November 1998, long after the NRM had come to power. Yet, we killed many enemy soldiers that attacked us or that resisted our attacks. Dozens at Kembogo, Rubona, Nyabishojwa, etc. We killed when it was necessary and unavoidable. Beating captives is wrong. Why? You undermine your case in court when the court discovers that you got information through torture. Secondly, on account of beating, somebody may admit what is not true, in which case you assist the criminals by failing to identify the actual criminal. The unidentified criminal will remain at large and commit other crimes. Torture, assassination, etc. are used by lazy people that are not ready to do more work using gaps in the stories of the criminals if they are telling lies. Even if a criminal or a terrorist does not admit, you can use circumstantial evidence to pin him, telephone calls, witnesses, etc. I therefore direct that the SFC uses 2 modes of conduct in operations other than war. You are likely to meet 2 scenarios. 1 are the urban terrorists, like the ones that were beginning to emerge around Kampala, using guns, knives, or hammers to kill people or intimidate them. Following intelligence, you should move in wearing the uniform of the counterterrorism police. If somebody is challenged to put up his hands and he tries to throw something at you or tries to reach for a gun, you shoot him. If he is aiming at hitting a civilian, you shoot him. If he is trying to set fire to a building or a petrol station, you shoot him. If he is damaging a car or a shop, you first fire in the air. If he ignores and goes on damaging, you close in on him and arrest him. If he tries to attack you, you shoot him. The individual soldiers here should have the initiative. This is if these are urban terrorists who are using guns or other implements. When it comes to crowds, e.g. demonstrations, I do not think that the members of the security forces should act individually. They should always act as a group, following the commands of the group leader, following the anti-riot procedures. This means, therefore, that the group should disperse about 300 meters from the scene of commotion so that they advance information ready to implement orders of the commander as he appreciates the situation. In these ways, you will be lethal, humane, and strategic. It is a strategic mistake to beat prisoners shoot somebody that has surrendered or has been captured. By doing so, you are galvanizing support for the enemy and making the enemy soldiers more determined to fight. If the enemy soldier is going to be killed or tortured badly, why should he surrender? Why not die fighting? By not killing captives, but instead treating them well, you are actually disintegrating the enemy's forces. The enemy soldier will easily surrender because they know, the enemy soldiers will easily surrender because they know that they are safe. Since you are also lethal fighters like you, the commandos, who were in Somalia on Kilometer 4 and Uruba Hotel, or in the Semrik National Park in 2007, the enemy soldier will fear to resist because they know that they will be killed legitimately if they continue to resist. Nobody therefore should damage our strategy and reputation by killing prisoners or beating them. It is wrong and unnecessary. It is counterproductive and immoral. The people you have captured may be criminals. They will be punished, including being hanged. They will be hanged. The court will hang them. But according to the law, what is the advantage here? The advantage is that even their own mothers will know and most probably support the punishment because they have understood the reasons. As already said, if they are killed resisting arrest, that is also understandable. Killing or beating captives without trial isolates us. Trying captives in courts of law and hanging them isolates the criminals. Even their mothers will either support us or at least understand. Returning punches to somebody punching you is also correct. It is the beating or killing of somebody already in your custody that is a strategic mistake, or shooting somebody that has put up his arms. Lethal, humane, and strategic are the three important words that I, as the leader of the resistance, I give to the commandos. Thanks. So this is what I gave to the commandos on the 15th of February. So therefore, these people who are continuing to do what they are doing is not acceptable. It would be eradicated. I want the people of Uganda to know that I will launch a very strong campaign, educational first, like these letters which were mainly educational and explaining the logic, but also we shall use the law to uproot this culture of reactionary behavior in our armed forces. Of the Myoga, this word, I am the one who used that word to describe what we were planning to do. You remember we have been having Operation Wealth Creation and NADS before that and other efforts. These were mainly in agriculture, giving seedlings, coffee, giving pigs, giving poultry. It was mainly giving cows. It was mainly in agriculture. But there were economic actors, especially young people, who were not in agriculture, who were in what the Europeans call artisanship. But I decided to use the traditional Runyankore word of emyoga, plural, omwoga, singular. In the olden society, everybody had omwoga. You would have a blacksmith, that is his mwoga, omhesi. A carpenter, ombeizi, that was his omwoga. A a traditional healer, Omfumu. That was his Mwoga. The people who were making arrows and bows for war, Abatanaji. They were called Abatanaji in Runyankore, the bow makers. The ones who were making shoes were called Abaremi, Okuremenkaito. The ones who were making back cloth were called Abakomaji. The ones who were crossing people in the lake, you would have somebody crossing people on the lake. They were called Abarimbi. Banyankore were beginning even to advance. They even had undertakers, the ones who would bury, especially the king when he died. They would call this funeral service. The Banyankore had started it. These were called Abashti. Abashti, like the hyena. They were called Abashti. So these were Emyoga, specialization. So that's why when I was seeing our young people, the carpenters, the metro workers, the musicians, the children who roast the hair of women, all those, the catering groups, all these are Emyoga. So therefore, we said, okay, Operation Wealth Creation, and now in the new arrangement, we are going to the parish model. We'll deal mainly with agriculture, which means crops, livestock, and fisheries. But how about these people? Because these are not in agriculture. You can call them, of course agriculture is also Omwoga, but it is, you can call it majority Mwoga, where the majority of the people are. These other Mwoga, the people are not as many as in agriculture, but they are also not few. So that's why we said, let us serve these at the constituency. Why the constituency? Because you may not, how many metro workers are in each village? They may not be many. You may actually have none in a village. While for the farmers, there is a farmer in every village. So that's why we said these ones can be served at the constituency. So we started this. I've been seeing people saying all sorts of things, but yesterday, the Myoga, let me read the Myogas, carpenters, welders, saloon operators, fishermen, performing artists, tailors, among others. Now, some people have been saying that it has not had impact. But according to, let me read this statement, which I got from the people who are involved. I'm happy to inform Ugandans that this program has registered commendable progress as follows. The government provided a total of Uganda shillings 260 billion as seed capital under the Myoga program through the Microfinance Support Center. This constitutes 100% of what the government committed to provide for the period. At the end of July 2021, seed capital amounting to Uganda shillings 213 billion had been dispersed to the Myoga circles, representing 81.9% of the planned disbursement. So this money has been put on the accounts of the SACCOs, 213 billion. A total of 6,488 Myoga SACCOs have already received seed capital on their bank accounts. Later on, I will explain what this means. Outside Kampala and Wakiso, by the end of July 2021, seed capital had been disbursed to 5,777 SACCOs out of the total of the 6,000 that were created under the program. In Kampala and Wakiso, seed capital had been disbursed. Disbursed means paid to, given to 711 SACCOs out of a total of 1,268. Mobilization by the leadership in Kampala and Wakiso was slower compared to other areas. A total of 6,748 Myoga SACCOs have been formed countrywide. Subsequently, a total of 6,275 Myoga SACCOs have fully registered with the registrar of cooperatives. Government has assisted these SACCOs to put in place governance committees and systems. By the end of June 2021, the Myoga SACCOs had saved Uganda shillings 27 billion despite the COVID interruptions. This is the money they had saved among themselves according to, to this information. This is impressive and it gives signals that the program will continue in the future. This was their own money, apart from the one promised or given by the government. These people have saved their own 27 billion. A total of 4,044 Myoga SACCOs had accessed their bank accounts and dispersed funds to 38,000 parish-based saving associations. This implies that 62% of the SACCOs who received seed capital have accessed the funds. So the money was first put on the accounts, and now it seems these ones withdrew the money. This one they are talking about. An estimated 4.1 million Ugandans have opened savings accounts through their associations, thus addressing the perennial problem of financial exclusion. I have been told about a few cases of indiscipline, especially among the district commercial officers, which I have asked the minister in charge of cooperatives to deal with. We even arrested some of the people in Butambara. I sent a team there, and they arrested the ones who had extorted money from the Myoga SACCOs. So if you hear of the extortion, please report it. The people who are saying, in order for me to recommend you or what, give me part of the money. However, overall, as you can see in this very short time, the Myoga program has already stimulated economic activity in the communities. Given the successes elaborated above, I have asked the Minister of Finance to ensure adequate funding so as to include the new Myoga categories that were left out, such as bricklayers, and to meet the demand of the many savings associations that have been formed. I therefore call upon Ugandans, especially leaders, to support this program that promotes savings. Savings will secure the future of this country. I asked the teams to quote me some examples of successful Myoga SACCOs. And I was told that there is Kasiro County Fishermen Myoga SACCO. The SACCO is located in Kadunguru Sub-County, Kasiro County, Serere District. The SACCO has got a membership of 14 associations with 285 individual members. The circle received seed capital of Uganda shilling 30 million from the Microfinance Support Center and has mobilized savings of 32 million. To date, a total of 62 million has been disbursed, has been paid out to all the 14 associations. These people told us that the Myoga money has noticeably transformed the livelihood of the fishing community in Kasiro. Beneficiaries bought fishing gear and better boats using the loans acquired from the circle. The chairperson is Robert Onguriatum, and he's on telephone 0776 654425. Repeat, 0776 654425. So if anybody wants to check, can check with him about this testimony. Iganga Taylor Zemyoga Circle. The circle members are women engaged in fashion design and tailoring. They received Uganda shilling 30 million as seed money under Myoga, and Uganda 23 million, and Uganda shilling 23 million has been mobilized in savings so far. So they received 30 million, and then they mobilized from among themselves another 23 million. Out of 21 member associations, 17 have access to loans and bought 25 sewing machines. This has improved on their production and sales at the individual member levels, leading to increase in savings at circle level. Currently, the members are training 35 youth in tailoring and fashion design. The circle chairperson attributes the good performance to the training the leaders received from the government. She says without good leadership skills in financial management, the money may end up not serving the intended purpose. Chairperson, Maganda Florence, telephone 0702 460417. Bufumbira, South Emyoga Circle. The circle received seed capital of Uganda shilling 30 million, and members saved Uganda shillings 10 million. The circle bought 4 welding machines. Each association received a welding machine worth 2.5 million. The balance was used to buy raw materials. Products made by the members include doors and windows. Each machine bought is able to generate an estimated monthly income of 350,000 shillings. Chairperson, Tumwesi Benon, telephone 0786 02 6585. Dakabera, so there are so many here. What I wanted was to get some examples. I can see that in Dakabera, that is near Soroti, then Kampala, Central Division, PW Dusako, then Kasanda South, Fishermen Circle, Kasanda South Women Entrepreneurs, Ngora County Youth, Chotera County Produce Dealers. They are all here, and their numbers are there. So it seems, then I asked because the Honorable Anita Mong, when she was sending the MPs to check, she was wondering that her small district of Bukedea had got 1.2 billion, which is a lot of money, and she was wondering what had happened to that money, because she was seeing nothing on the ground. So I would like the Minister of Microfinance, Kasolo, to get time and be on the radio and answer that question. But what I was told yesterday is that sometimes the money is still on the account. That's what I was told. You should check that. So the Myoga is a very good idea. It will work. If anybody makes a mistake, he will be punished, because this creates a residential bank for those people. See, their bank. We give them money, even if it is 30. I heard some people say, oh, the money is too small. No, 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 this is the beginning. 30 million per Mwoga. You save and add on. Save and add on. Now, finally, I just want to mention we are struggling with buying vaccines from outside. The Minister or the PS will give a detailed report one of these days about the vaccines which we are going to import. We are talking with everybody, Johnson & Johnson, Sputnik, AstraZeneca, all of them, we are talking with them, and I'm sure we shall succeed to get enough vaccines to vaccinate all the 21 million people that need vaccination. But more importantly is developing our own vaccine. Developing a vaccine has got 8 stages. We are now at stage 5, and we are moving very, very, very well. My appeal to partners abroad is to sell us reagents, some of the chemicals to use to do this and that, in case when we need them. Of course, some of these reagents can also be made here. We have studied all of them. Many of them can be made here, but because of speed, for the first production, we would want to buy from the people who have already established lines abroad. I thank you. I mainly want to talk about the issue of the human rights and the behavior of the security forces. Thank you very much. I wish you good luck.